Greetings. It is Tuesday, the 18th of August, 2020. Pastor Ron Jetter, Immanuel Lutheran Church, Grandview, Washington. In a poem titled To a Mouse, Robert Burns once wrote these oft-quoted words: "The best laid plans of mice and men." Well, the plan for today was to record this from the sanctuary. Unfortunately, in the middle of it, it quit. So I came home, plugged it in, and I'm starting over. Talking today about birthright. What is birthright? Well, birthright is traditionally connected to birth order. By virtue of being the oldest, you are the one whom God favors, at least in the eyes of most historical civilizations, and that's still deep within the psyche of the human race today. The eldest has a privileged place. In Israel, it was law. Remember the story of the prodigal son. The older brother was going to inherit the farm, the property, and the work involved in being a farmer. It went hand in hand. So it wasn't just a blessing, it was a birthright, the right of birth. Kings and queens become kings and queens because they are generally the oldest. Now, the oldest son of King George V didn't want to be king. He wanted to marry an divorced American woman, and so Albert, or Bertie as he called his younger brother, then became king, only because his older brother David forsook his birthright. Edward VI did not want to be Edward VI. He wanted simply to be David Windsor. And so Bertie became King George VI. He had no sons, but he did have two daughters. And Elizabeth was the oldest daughter, so it was understood from the time her father became king, she would one day be the third woman on England's throne. She is still there today, and that was back in 1952 that Elizabeth II began her reign. Long live the Queen. Wow, long time. Coming up on 70 years. In February of 2022. Wow. That's got to be some kind of a record for a monarch. Birthright. The oldest gets the responsibility, but they also then get what goes with it. They get the naming, they get the blessings and all the things. They get the lion's share of the property. Now, in the case of my mother-in-law, she had two children. And the oldest, by 4 years, was my brother-in-law, Gary. He was the natural choice for her to be her executor, or what they now call personal representative. My parents also had 3 children. An older brother, I have an older sister. My sister and I both live in the Northwest. My parents were in Idaho. We were both closer physically. My sister was a nurse capable of working with all their medical things, medical directives and so on. I worked in hospice and in ministry. I was certainly familiar with things such as estates and planning and hopes. My brother in Southern California is a nuclear engineer, or was at that time, since retired. Least qualified, least capable of being there. But he's the oldest. And he's the oldest male. So when it came time, my mother told me, now here's where everything is. Make sure your brother gets it. Help him to do what he needs to do. No question asked. It was that way. Even though my mother was the 5th or 6th child of her parents, and of the 5 daughters, the middle daughter. But her father chose her, not his son. In fact, his son never married. Uncle Bill lived in Alaska. He chose my mom to be his representative as well. birthright. Esau didn't care that he was born a few minutes earlier than his twin brother Jacob. If you remember last week, we told the story of how Esau was hungry. He was a hunter, didn't have enough food. Jacob was a tiller of the land. He had made bread from the grain, and he had made lentil stew. And Esau is hungry, and Jacob, his brother, his twin, rather than saying, "Of course, I am my brother's keeper, I will share with you," Jacob said to his brother, "Okay, swear me your birthright." What gives a birthright to me? I mean, so I'm born 6 minutes older than you. I'm going to die of hunger. Fine, you can have my birthright. Now give me some food. So he sold his birthright. He's now going to inherit the second child's share. They swore it before God, swore an oath. So now their father Isaac has to answer to that, has to honor it. But Isaac has received a blessing from his father Abraham that God gave to Abraham. Isaac must pass on this blessing. Isaac knows that his descendants will number like the stars, the promise given to his father. But that will not come through him because he had only the twins that we know of. But their sons, Esau and Jacob, will become great nations. Because that was foretold. 2 nations are at war within your womb. That's what Rebekah heard from the angel. And so Isaac's thinking, Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, the names that will live forever in fame. But Rebekah had different plans. We've already heard Rebekah liked Jacob. Esau, the oldest, was favored by dad. He was the one who had birthright. Chapter 27, verse 1. When Isaac was old, his eyes were so dim he could not see. He called his elder son Esau to him and said, "My son." He answered him, "Here I am." Isaac said, "See, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now then, take your weapons, your quiver and your bow. Go out to the field and hunt game for me. Then prepare for me savory food such as I like, and bring it to me to eat, so that I may bless you before I die." This blessing then, from God to Abraham to Isaac and now to Esau. Verse 5. Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to his son Esau. So when Esau went out to the field to hunt for game and bring it, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "I heard your father say to your brother Esau, 'Bring me game and prepare for me savory food to eat, so that I may bless you before the Lord before I die. Now therefore, my son, obey my word and do as I command. Go to the flock, get me 2 choice kids, so that I may prepare them for savory food for your father, such as he likes. And you will take it to your father to eat, so that he may bless you before he dies.'" Now I love this verse. This is one of these really fun ones that you learn to quote as a kid in Sunday school. Chapter 27, verse 11 of Genesis. But Jacob said to his mother, "Look, my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man." Wow. Behold, my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Funny verse. At least it was when you're 11. "Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to be mocking him and bring a curse instead of a blessing." His mother said to him, oh, these are so devious. "Your curse be on me. Only obey my word and go get them." So he went and got them and brought them to his mother and prepared savory food. His mother prepared savory food such as his father loved. Rebekah took the best garments of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, no doubt animal skins because he was a hunter. She put them on her younger son Jacob, put the skins of the kids on his hands and the smooth part of his neck. She handed the savory food and the bread she had prepared to her son Jacob. So he went in to his father, saying, "My father," he said, "here I am." "Who are you, my son?" Jacob said to his father. "I am Esau, your firstborn." So he is lying. First, he tells his brother, "Give me your birthright, and then I'll give you food." Wow. Isaac said to his son, "How is it you have found it so quickly, my son?" He answered, because the Lord your God granted me success. Isaac said to Jacob, come near that I may feel you, my son, to know whether you are my son Esau or not. Jacob went up to his father, who felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. He did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's. So Isaac blessed him. He said, are you really my son Esau? He answered him, I am. And he said, bring it to me that I may eat of my son's game and bless you. So he brought it to him, and he ate and brought him wine and drank. Then his father said to Isaac, come near me and kiss me, my son. So he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of the garments and blessed him and said, the smell of my son is like the smell of the field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you and all nations bow before you. Be Lord over your brothers. May your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, when Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of his father, his brother Esau came in from hunting. He also prepared savory food and brought it to his father. He said, Father, sit up and eat of your son's game, that you may bless me. His father Isaac said to him, who are you? He answered, I'm your firstborn, Esau, because this time he really was. Isaac trembled violently and said, who was it then who hunted game and brought it into me, and I ate it? Before you came, I have blessed him. Yes, and blessed he shall be. Isaac gave the blessing to Jacob, who tricked him, who deceived him, who lied to him. But Isaac will not take that blessing back. Verse 34, when Esau heard his father's words, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, bless me also, Father. Your brother came deceitfully, he said, and has taken away your blessing. Wow. Have you not reserved a blessing for me? No, only the one. Have you only one blessing? Esau lifted up his voice and wept. What a story. So, Isaac, the younger, got the blessing from Abraham. Jacob, the younger, got the blessing from Isaac. Does Jacob know what he's in for?